No.
Number four?
Uh, which version had you seen?
Only the short one.
Yeah, same with me, only the short one.
Did anybody
don't-
with the director's cut?
That's the one
I think I saw it. Well, I don't know. I saw a longer version. When I watched it today. So is that the director's cut?
2
Was there a
minutes,
love-
50 some seconds,
was
or
there
2
a
minutes,
love
2 hours,
story?
50 minutes.
Was there a
Yeah,
love
it's
story?
It's
Yes.
about 3 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The girl that got away and then came back for one night. Okay,
Exactly.
That's the long version.
right. That's okay. I saw that.
Okay.
Me too.
All right, to get going, Cinema Paradiso was a 1988 coming of age movie directed by Giuseppe Tornatore. It was immediately a critical success and won a bunch of film prizes at festivals, but it was a bomb in Italy where it was first released, because it was there were three versions of it. Anyway, the longer of the two versions did not work at the box office, so they shortened it for international release, and the shortest version was good box office and won an Oscar and many other things once it was shortened. And it sort of put Italian filmmakers back on the map with the attention that this movie got, which eventually led to what was the one, Life is Beautiful. And I don't think, did Life is Beautiful win for Best Picture or just Best Foreign Film that year? But anyway, this was pointed to as the stair step of the Italian film industry to go from that into Life is Beautiful. Following the Academy Award, it was released again after the middle version. It made $5.5 million in Italy, 19 million in the U.S. and Canada. No, that was in France, and in the U.S. and Canada, it grossed 12.3 million. So it eventually had some box office success. Like I said, it exists in multiple versions. Originally released in Italy at 155 minutes, but the poor box office led it to being shortened to 124 minutes, and that's when it got its success as an Oscar and a box office success. It also won the Special Jury Prize at the 1989 Cannes Film Festival. And in 2002, the director's cut, which is now 173 minutes long, was released. Until last week, I had never seen the director's cut. And for my money, I think the love story waters it down. Mahoney, have you ever seen, is this the only version you've seen?
Yeah, just yeah, I watched it today for the first time.
Yeah. Well, in the shorter Oscar-winning version, the Elena love story is not there at all. It's not even part of this, and they take a good portion of it out. And for my money, and for my attention, I thought it was a better, tighter, more compelling movie without the love story, because what attracted me to the movie in the beginning was this, guy's love of movies and how the missing scenes and, everything is built around that. And to me, the love story just kind of takes a distraction and waters it down. And I thought it was better done with like one main storyline, which is a love of movies, because it can be an escape from reality. And the movie, when you are denied access to the romantic scenes, there's an attraction there. And then, when it comes full circle and those scenes are reinvented, then or replayed in a sequence, I think it made the storyline tighter and more complete and more focused than love of film and love of the fantasy of film and the escape of reality, and then off to a love story. If you ever want to spend the time looking at the longer version, we can debate that. And what was interesting as I read is Siskel and Ebert, one of them gave the longer version 4 stars and said, it was a masterpiece, but he liked the shorter version better. as
Yeah.
as a compelling movie. So I want to confess that I think the reason I was drawn to this movie, and I think I've talked about it on here before, when I was growing up in the religious household that I was growing up in, movies were off limits. So there was, when you take something away from somebody and say you can't have access to that, then your interest in it just grows and you fantasize about what am I missing out on? And I think, the whole town is wondering what, there's a jump cut in this movie. What are we missing out on? And that resonated with me. And then the fact that, he was compelled to go make movies. And so it's a movie about loving movies. And when you're denied access to movies, I think the love of movies burns a little hotter. And then, like I said, the escape from reality. And then the final trick is when the movies, when you see the movies, and once you have access to a theater as a little kid and you watch a movie, then you realize, maybe maybe the candy was not that tasty, but you still want to bite it. So that's why I was always drawn to this movie, because it was a movie about denying people the best part of the movie. And so to me, there was a personal compulsion to watch it. So when we first started the League of Unpaid Film Critics, I would always ask, and I will do it again tonight, what do you think the movie maker was trying to accomplish? 2, do you think the movie maker accomplished it? And 3, was it worth it? And and worth it could be if you paid $30 to go see it in the theater and it cost you popcorn, or in our case, was it worth the time? Because if Mahoney spent 177 minutes, he spent a good portion of his life watching this movie today. And I did too over the past week, because I'd never seen the director's cut. So what do you think the filmmaker was trying to say? What was he trying to do? Do you think he did it well? And then, was it worth it? And if anybody wants to raise their hand, we'll jump out of the gate.
Looks like Donna already has.
Yeah, Don already has her.
Oh,
hand up.
well, wait. Well, yeah, I can start, but I didn't do it. It just must still be on. Or
Well, first of all,
whatever.
Don and I need to do some family business. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm glad you got to see the kids.
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
wonderful seeing them, and we had a great time. So yeah, it was great. Well, I might as well start. I absolutely loved this movie. I had seen it in '88. So Gary, does that mean I saw the short version or the long version? And I just watched it again on Prime, but I don't know if that was the long version or the director's cut or what. I don't know what version it was, but I just saw it again.
If you saw it in '88, if you saw the shortest version. The 155-minute one was released in Italy. It did not do well at the box office. They made him go back and cut 30 minutes out of it. That's what got international release.
Wow.
And that's, if you saw it in '88, that's what you saw.
Well, I remember loving it in '88. And then when I saw it again just recently, I loved it even more. I thought it was even better. Now, whether that was because of the romance, I don't think so. But I just remember thinking, it's 30 years later, and I could connect with the nostalgia and the going back and recognizing what movies did for you in my own life, and how how important they were. And I don't know, it was just connected with me a lot. I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite movies back then, and even now I just went, oh, that is so good. Plus the little boy reminded me of Cruz. I was laughing because
John said that over and over again. Yeah.
It was just like, oh my gosh, he looks like Cruz.
What the fuck is
He's
going on?
so brilliant and funny and always asking questions, and kind of drives you nuts sometimes, but I just love him. And so I love that. I just thought all the way around, I thought the idea of looking at your life because you know, somebody that was so important to you dies and you haven't seen them in 30 years, you know, brought up all this stuff. I just thought it did really well. It also connected with me, Gary. Of course, I was raised Catholic, and probably all you Catholics can relate to this. We had the Legion of Decency, and every Sunday in our mass bulletin was the Legion of Decency that would tell you what movies you could not see, which of course are the movies I wanted to see all the time. But, you know, those were the movies that, you know, we couldn't see because they were, I think it was C. You could see an A. If you were old enough, you could see I think they were, I can't remember. I think it was A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3. But anyway, there were certain ones that you just couldn't see, but they had them listed, the ones you shouldn't see. And of course, you know, you wanted to see those, of course. So anyway, I loved it. I was so happy that I got to see it again because I had forgotten how really good it was. I think he did a great job. I didn't remember that I didn't see the romance, but seeing it this time, you know, I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the idea that it was the love of movies and the love of this girl that kind of pushed him to. So I don't know. I didn't mind the romance.
In the version you saw, did they reconnect later in life after she's married?
Well, and this new one, yes, the one on Prime, yes.
So you saw the whole director's cut.
Oh, well, I guess I did. I guess I did. You know, and then just kind of pulled it all together, I guess. Yeah. And so that I did not mind at all.
So you've seen both. You've seen the short one and the long one.
Yeah, yeah, both good.
Did anybody not like it? And the reasons?
I like the movie. I like Mahoney. I watched it today. I watched the director's cut today. When I went on Amazon Prime to select, I thought I was selecting the non-director's cut because it was shorter. And then I hit the pause button for a moment and saw how much I had left. Said, shit, I got the director's cut. However, having said that, I'm glad I did because I did enjoy the director's cut. I'm trying to envision this movie with all the love story extracted from it, because to me, it's not just they hook up at the end. I mean, there's the plot with what Alfredo did, you know, in the director's cut, part of him going off to the military, the love aspect. So I'm trying to, I may go see the non-director's cut just to see what got cut out, because to me that was I get the whole love of movies and all that. I get all that, but to me the love aspect was an integral part of that movie. Obviously, on the director's cut, I don't know that I would have enjoyed the non-director's cut. And just one other thing, in Kansas City, Kansas, the diocesan newspaper was the Eastern Kansas Register, which my brothers and sisters and I would attempt to hide before it came in the mail, because like whatever Donna referenced, they would rate all the movies in there. And we were screwed on any James Bond movie as soon as that issue came out because of the because of the ratings. So,
That's right.
But I like the movie, and the little boy that plays Toto in the beginning, that kid was a phenomenal actor for his age. So I like. I was glad that I made the mistake of getting the director's cut. I liked it.
All right.
I totally agree with what Pete said. I watched it on Prime and had forgotten that there was different versions. So I saw the director's cut. And, you know, at first I went, damn, this is almost 3 hours, but you know, it went by fast. I didn't mind it. And yeah, I don't see how they could take the love story part out, because it was a big part of the movie, I thought. But
yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good.
I guess
I don't know what the director was trying to say. I mean, I always think they're just trying to make a good story, which it was. And
I wonder how autobiographical it was. I wonder if he, you know, as a movie maker, if he has tried to tell a version of his story, you know.
Yeah. Well, wasn't he from Sicily? The director, the real director, wasn't he from Sicily? And yeah, I thought it was pretty much
Right,
autobiographical.
right. What you know, right?
Yeah.
So it's been several years since I've seen the shorter version, not the shortest, but the shorter version of this until I watched this week with the director's cut. Was there no Elena when he was a teenager in that movie?
Mm-mm.
None at all. So it was
Yeah.
scrubbed the whole way through.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Boy, that's hard to even,
And now,
and that's what I must have seen, but yeah.
now that I think about it, I think I did see the one before without her at all. And that's why it felt so different this time.
I mean, it starts out with her. I mean, Salvatore's in his place in Rome with some other bimbo and
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not her.
no, I know. Yeah. It's just one of his
Yeah. Groupies.
uh-huh. I liked his mother's line. Every time I call you, a different voice answers the phone or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Chris,
Yes, scary. I loved it.
had
I
you seen it
absolutely
before?
loved it. I had not, and I'm so nosy, I don't want to miss anything. So I had to watch the director's cut, and I loved it so much. I mean, there's so many different love stories going on within the story. I mean, there was Alfredo's love of his job in the cinema and entertaining the townspeople. Of course, Toto, he was so precocious, and he watched everything that Alfredo did, learned how to run the projector. I mean, he was totally immersed in that business. And then the town, that was their entertainment. They couldn't wait to get in there and see what the newest movie was that was going to be shown. And then Elena, gorgeous Elena. And I take issue with Alfredo because he had a warning for Toto regarding Elena. And that was, love, love, I know how it is. The blue-eyed ones are the worst. No matter what you do, they'll never be your friends. There's nothing you can do. I have blue eyes, so I take issue with this, okay?
So do I, Chris. So
Okay.
And me.
Yeah, it was just fabulous. I loved it. So good pick for me.
mhm.
It's a good movie. I mean, when I saw the shorter one, I loved the movie.
Yeah.
But I thought this one got a little draggy, but I loved the love story as part of it and the references to it throughout. And who can't like Boccia?
Yeah.
Which one was he?
He's the one on the bicycle.
And at the end, he was the one that had the
He married
Elaine
her.
in the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that a birthmark, or he just kept getting his head beat against the blackboard by the
Who
teacher?
knows?
He couldn't do math.
The nuns did that to him.
Yeah.
Whose turn? Whose turn? Who? Bill? Terry? Mahoney? Oh, we lost Mahoney.
Oh, we did?
Uh-oh.
We did a my screen.
Performance anxiety.
Yeah.
There was a lot more to it. It was about connection of people and passion and things like that, because there was a story about the boy and Alfredo, as well as the clips that they were cutting from the film. So there were work. I think he was showing a lot of, the director was showing a lot of things on a lot of different levels. So it was good that way. That the connection between Alfredo and the boy, that was a strong part of the show.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Terry, did you connect with it?
Yeah, it was all right.
Had you seen it before?
Yeah, back when it came out.
Did you
Kind of I
revisit
liked it back then. I
Did you
had
read-
totally pretty much forgotten most of it. I mean, I remember the theater and him sneaking around and hanging out in the projection booth.
Did you rewatch it this week?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah. The
Did you
2-hour
watch-
version.
The 2-hour version.
Yeah.
Am I right? There's no love story in there, right?
No, not in the 2-hour, but there was. Elena and all of that in the 2-hour version.
Oh, there was?
Yeah.
And what's do you remember which scenes?
He's looking, he's staring at her.
But do they get
She
together
asks him
again
why
at-
he's staring, and then he takes a film of her
Yeah.
and he watches that. And the Chris said, he said, Alfredo says that to him.
But in the end, do
And,
they get back together?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't, so
I don't
maybe
think
there,
so.
maybe my memory is faulty and that there is an introduction of a romance, but
A
then
small piece. That's what I was thinking, that there was
Yeah.
some Elena in the prior version.
I don't know how you could completely eliminate that aspect of the storyline. You know what I mean? It has to be.
And
the
I
very
so
end-
wanted to watch the shorter one after I saw this one, but
What's that?
there's only so many hours in the day.
that's
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I give up.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Chris did. Did you watch them both?
No, no, just the director's cut.
So why do you think Alfredo was so insistent that Salvatore Toto leave, never look back, never visit? I mean, that seemed to be, a hard call. There was no, hey, you ought to go try something new. It almost seemed like to me it looked like a push too far. Anybody think otherwise?
And he meant it, because we find out at the end that what he told her was leave it alone. I wouldn't tell him.
Right.
Yeah, wouldn't
We
put
see
the-
this whole unrequited thing, and he just said, not let it pass.
Yeah,
You know,
don't
I
come
think
back to the island, don't come back to the girl, nothing.
Right. I think Alfredo, because he never left, and he probably had, and this again, I'm just, spitballing here, but my sense of him was that he always regretted staying in the movie theater. He loved it. He loved, taking care of the people and being the only one that could do it and all that. But I think he always felt that he never left, and he didn't want that for Toto. He wanted him to, it was like he was looking at his own life, and he didn't want him to just stay there and be a projectionist for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I agree with that. He referred to himself as an imbecile. You know what I mean? Running the projector. I think he saw such incredible talent from Toto at a young age. He knew that there was something there with this guy, with this young boy, and the only way he was gonna that was gonna manifest itself is he got the hell out of Giancarlo or whatever the name of the town was. So it was a hard lesson, but I mean, he was doing him a solid.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, I see your hand.
Yes, I did raise my hand. He also told him not to believe anything that he saw in the film. So he was giving him all sorts of directions there, and like, why did he tell him not to leave town? Why did he tell him not to believe anything he saw in the films? That's part of like what you were asking in the beginning. What was the message of the film?
Yeah.
Is it growing up or?
Yeah, Sanders, we haven't heard from you. Sorry.
I watched a non-director's cut version of it, but Elena was in it. I read it.
Apparently she was in at the beginning of it, but there's a whole section in the back of the director's cut where they reconnect.
She was in it for a while, but it obviously wasn't the whole love story, but she didn't return or anything like that. But the way they left it was, he said, I'm going to look at your window, and whenever you open your window, I'll know that you've fallen in love with me. And he sat there and looked at the window and looked at the window, and she never did. And as a matter of fact, she closed the window. And so that's how they kind of put it in.
Yeah, that whole 99 nights
Oh.
thing.
Yeah. He was crossing it off on his calendar that he had on the projector, and he finally gave up. And then he joined the army, or had to. I don't know.
Well, in the director's cut, I think he stayed for 98 out of 99 nights, but he wanted to hold out hope that there was one night where
still left him.
Didn't get disappointed. You're back, Mahoney.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. So, I like the movies. I thought it was long. I thought that the edits could have been made in the second third of the movie. I loved him. Toto falling in love with the movies and the cinema and all of that. I thought that was a real magical story. And I thought that the love story with Elena was great and added a fitting conclusion of the movie. I thought they could have got there a little quicker, but I liked it a lot. I thought it was particularly poignant that he was he left his hometown and didn't feel compelled to return to it for 30 years. I haven't been back to my hometown for quite a few years as well. Now, not 30, but I sort of when he came back and he looked at the Paradise Cinema and learned that they were about to shut it down and demolish it. I had the same thing happen to me with a building in my hometown where I got my start in TV, and that building burned down probably I don't know 25 years ago or something like that, and it sort of left an empty spot in my heart. And I'm sure he felt that. Toto felt that way as a grown man as well, and so there were not lots of little things in this thing that that connected with me on a personal level, and so I enjoyed it. Again, I thought it was too long, and that they could have cut out some of the extraneous stuff in the second third of the movie to move it along. But I thought it was a nice tribute to somebody who is deeply in love with movies, and then also has that one last chance to connect to a long lost love. And I thought those were two compatible themes. I liked it a lot.
So this is a question for people who saw the shorter version. The part that dragged for me was when Toto tries to become some sort of entrepreneur where he's hustling copies of the film from one community to another. And I did not remember that part from the shorter version. Who saw the shorter version? And is there a section in the movie where he's bicycling copies from one town to another and trying to get 3 or 4 showings out of the same movie in the same day?
Well, it's not him. It's, of course, Boccia.
Yeah, but he's in on
his
it.
behest.
Yeah.
But I don't recall that in the short one.
Okay. That's
So
another part that I thought was a distraction. If it's a movie about the love of movies, then the love story is, icing on the cake. But it's a bigger cake, and there's 2 love stories going on.
Right.
And so, all right.
I also wanted to say one more thing. When I first saw the young Toto, I thought of Cruz also. I don't know why. It just hit me. I go, I'll be down. There's Cruz. He's on the big screen. So,
It was amazing.
I have a question, and this will be to be answered by the jury. Did I understand that Alfredo cut out the kissing scenes before he passed them on to the next town, but inserted them? And if he did, then how did he put together a kiss reel at the end of the movie? So which was it? Were the other towns getting the same priest edited versions, and every community after that got their kissing scenes extracted?
He said he forgot where they went in sometimes, and so he had at least some spares, if not all of them.
So it's both.
That's what I thought too. It was both.
It's not all the kissing scenes he edited out. It's just the ones he couldn't figure out where to put back in.
He just kept them in that pile. Yeah.
Okay.
I had a hard time figuring out how that could happen because he was reel number one rolls off and he's throwing it to the guy on the bicycle. And I don't know how they spliced it or respliced it. I mean, it just didn't seem like there was appropriate time. And I've got a quick question. I was trying to place this movie in terms of the war. So he goes into the army in 54 or 55. And so I'm thinking he's 18.
His dad died in World War II.
Huh? Yeah, his dad never came home from Russia in front. Yeah.
Right.
So I guess he's showing all these movies. The whole Toto thing is kind of World War II.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. His mom is waiting and his dad never comes home. Right.
Then he's a teenager and grows as a teenager, and finally Alfredo kicks him
So
into
what war did he go to in the 50s?
No, he
didn't go to war.
He didn't go to war.
40s.
He just he was in the national service
Military
draft or whatever they called it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the other, as I watched it for the second time, this is a guy who has become, famous in Rome for his movie making, but there's almost no evidence of his movie making. I mean,
no,
you just assume, well, he must be a famous movie director. What did he produce? A scene from a movie that he produced to me would have.
That's the 4-hour version.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, have him show up at a premiere with some lady on his arm, but there was almost no reference to his movie making, except at the very beginning when he, shot a home movie, and there was more attention, at least in the director's cut, with bicycling movies back and forth than there was ever producing a movie. So
there was a scene when he went back for the Alfredo's funeral where he's in a little bar. He orders a double whiskey, and a guy goes over to ask for his autograph, and he says, "Are you Dr. Laverna or something like that?" Where the hell that come? But obviously in the director's cut, Elena, when they're sitting in the car at the very end, she makes some reference to the fact that he felt compelled to change his name or something as part of his, when he embarked on this directorial career. By the way, I'm just going to say when they're sitting in the car in the parking lot there at the end, it kind of reminded me of the scene in Castaway where Tom Hanks and Helen Hunt, it's like what might have been, and they can't. Well, actually, in this movie, they did go ahead and get it on apparently, but they didn't. Tom Hanks and Helen Hunt didn't, celebrate their homecoming, so to speak.
He had this apparently nom de plume or something, because at the first of the movie, when he walked into that gal in bed, she called him Salvatore.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. That's right.
Well, that was his name though, right? Salvatore.
Yeah. Salvatore Davida.
Have we ignored you all night?
Davida. Yeah.
Jeff Copeland, have we ignored you all night, sir?
It's been horrible. I want to start out with a Catholic question because I didn't grow up in that faith. And it always seems weird to me that and you were talking about how there was a grading system for the films and so forth. To me, Catholicism is a lot about having lots of children and having family life and so forth. How in the world does that get started without some kissing and some other stuff like that? How does that work? I mean, is it divine intervention or what? Is there a theory behind that?
Well, I wouldn't know.
We're going to lose all of our followers now, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Well, you've heard of the rhythm method.
Yeah, the rhythm method.
Yeah, divine intervention, I guess. And so answering Gary's questions, I think some of the things that the filmmaker was trying to do was to invoke memories of movies, childhood innocence, lost opportunities, and to strike those chords in people who have, almost everybody's got some components of that in their memory in their life. And I think he did a really good job of pulling those up. And I would say, yes, it was worth it. I did enjoy the romantic part of this movie. I thought it was well done and it was tantalizing, and it really, a part of this was the lost opportunity thing, and just the split second miss where he put that extra piece of paper over the note and didn't get a chance to see it, and he went back and found it, and that kind of was heartrending. I also thought it was interesting how they traced the evolution of cinema, where it started out where the movies were almost not even quite talkies yet, and then pretty soon they were had sound, and then pretty soon they had color, and they showed the real old projectors with the lamps that would burn up the stuff. I actually remember in my hometown seeing a movie disintegrate on the screen, and that somebody up in the projection room had failed to pay attention. It was just an old film or something. It kind of reminded me when that burst into flames too, of the scene in Inglourious Basterds, where the movie went up in flames, where the theater went up in flames. That was a spectacular scene. And I think he left home with that missed opportunity thing, where he left home, he never came back because he pretty much had decided that she was not there and that there was no reason to go back. He yearned for her, he longed for her his whole life, and if he had thought there was even a chance in hell that she was back there, he probably would have gone back. But obviously that didn't happen, and her reason for being there was kind of offhanded too, that she had run into her husband at school in Pisa or someplace. So that was kind of a little thing, but I do think that it was, it reminded me, there was another movie we saw, I think, where a kid absolutely fell in love with making movies and was going around making movies all the time. And I can't remember which one that was. Maybe you guys
Spielberg movie, probably.
The Spielberg?
That's it.
Oh,
the
his new
Fettermans,
one,
or
newish one.
the Fettermans, or whatever.
Right.
Fumblemans or somebody.
Yeah.
Finkelmans, Fettermans, something like that.
Fablemans.
Fablemans, yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
So that reminded me of that, but I couldn't quite grasp the reference. So anyway, I did enjoy it very much. I felt like it was woven together well, and it would be interesting to see the shorter version of it without the romance. But I felt like it played an integral part in it, and that they wove it in there pretty well.
I am stunned that all of you gave up 177 minutes of your life, because I joked and said, and you get extra credit if you watch the director's cut. I mean, that's an investment. And
I looked movies lately.
One of the things
for it, couldn't find it.
Yeah,
but I
hit the wrong button.
I didn't know there was any others.
Two logos, and you had to choose the right one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of the notes I made while I'm listening to you, I'll talk, is how I thought the townspeople were a character. And you can look at it either one of two ways. Like, you've got to get out of here because there are crazy people riding around on bicycles declaring that they own the square or whatever. Or you can see it as, why wouldn't you love this place that had so many idiosyncratic, characters, and why would you want to stay away from there for 30 years? And, and when he comes back, they go from face to face of all the crazy people who have become old and grizzled. And you can either think he's thinking, man, I'm glad I got out of here, or I love all these people. They this is what made my neighbor or my childhood rich and, full of character. So I thought
Mayberry.
Yeah, I thought the townspeople were a character, a collective character, and that was an interesting view.
But he could have looked at all those people and thought, thank God I left, or I'd still be here, old and grizzled. Yeah.
The guy that would keep running around going, the square is mine.
Yeah.
When the theater burnt down and he's out front, bragging about it and I mean, that was a time when he should have been beaten. by the rest
Yeah.
of the town people there. I'm
Yeah.
surprised. I'm surprised they didn't just make him
That
go
sounds like
away.
something Terry would say. Except he would say the guy should be shot.
So Whit,
Yeah.
or Bill, maybe, this was a 1990 Oscar contender, 91.
88.
I don't know, but I have it up. It's the 62nd, and I have the nominations up.
So I was curious. I mean, I thought it was a wonderful movie, and it won best foreign movie.
But it wasn't even nominated.
Huh?
It wasn't even nominated
For Best Picture?
for Best Picture.
Well, because it didn't get released here till 90.
So you think it might be the next year?
Well, I guess it didn't make it.
No, it won Best Foreign. I mean, I scrolled down. It won Best Foreign.
Yeah, but it was an Italian release in 88, and I don't think it was until Harvey Weinstein cut it that it was released here. Isn't that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that this same year it won Best Foreign Picture, but it wasn't nominated as a Best Picture that year.
So it was best foreign picture in 88.
No, it was released in 88. I don't know when it was nominated or put into Oscar. I don't know when it won its Oscar.
What
I know
year-
its original release was in 88.
The best films of 1989 and took place on March 26, 1990.
Okay, so it's
So
89.
It won Best Foreign Film for 1989.
Right. But it wasn't released here, so I'm assuming
But
it couldn't have been put up. Or I don't know if there's a double jeopardy that you can't do or something.
well,
but-
did they used to have a rule that a foreign film couldn't win Best Picture?
They may have, Bill. I'm not sure.
I don't know if they had a rule, but you never saw
Never
a foreign
happened.
film win back then.
Now they don't even call it foreign film, do they? They call it something else.
Yeah.
International something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
does anybody want to hear what it's? And the other reason is there were some pretty good films that were nominated that year. It was Driving Miss Daisy, Born on the 4th of July, Dead Poets Society, Field of Dreams, and My Left Foot. And the award went to Driving Miss Daisy.
Really?
So that's a pretty good lineup. That's a pretty good hallmark.
Probably
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis won for My Left Foot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, we're almost 45, 47 minutes into this. So thank you guys
Nice
for
pick.
playing along. Thank you for watching the extended version and investing so much of your time and life into the League of Unpaid Film Critics. So anybody seen Napoleon yet?
Not yet, but I'm
Not
going
yet.
along.
The reviews are not good.
The
No.
reviews are not good?
No.
Oh, my.
Yeah, the reviews are pretty tough.
Really?
Yeah.
I watched it this weekend, and it's got two love stories, Love of War and Love of
Yeah, Joseph.
whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Josephine.
Josephine.
And I think Joaquin Phoenix I think he's our best American actor, and he just continues to do great work. It's a major motion picture, and I didn't know we had that many horses on the planet, but they're all in this movie.
Oh, you have seen it already? You've seen it?
Yeah.
And you liked it?
Yeah. I mean, a part of it, what I liked is it filled in some historical gaps in my, I was asleep, I guess, in world history class. So it helped me catch up there. The acting, just the way the scenes, if you see it, you will see what I'm talking about. It's almost impossible to see how they pulled that off. And I know a lot of it is AI and CG, but it is so well done. It reminded me of watching Dances with Wolves and sitting there thinking, where did they get all these buffalo? I didn't know there were that many buffalo on the planet. I didn't know there were that many horses. And there's just wave after wave of, fighters on horseback. So
Who's
I don't
got
know.
next?
I'm know a little bit about Napoleon. I was thoroughly disappointed in the movie. Did you notice, Gary, that it was gray and dark, practically black? The whole freaking movie was dark. It was like they put a blue filter over the whole thing.
I didn't
That's one
see
of the things I love about that era of warfare is the brilliant colors of the uniforms. And I just thought they tried to cover way too much in 2 hours and 40 minutes, especially when they put all this stupid love stuff in there. Like, I don't give a shit about that. Come on, man. I want the battles.
Yeah,
I want to know about that stuff. Who cares?
I think if you
What
went
the hell?
I think if you went to see a war movie, you would be disappointed. If you went to see a character study, you would be enlightened. That's I went with an open mind, and I thought the battle scenes are spectacular, but I thought the character study was what was worth it for me. Is to, you know, I think whatever he did to take all what's been, I think they drew a lot from the love letters that he wrote back and forth to her to draw a character out of him. It's like he's inferior and thinks he's too small for her, and then he's larger than life on the battlefield, and there's some sort of balancing act going on there. So I thought it was, you know,
I had what they call a Napoleon complex.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Le Petit Corporal is what was his nickname.
Yeah.
They called him the Little Corporal.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sarah, Terry, it's your
I don't know. I
pick
just
next
thought it was
week.
like worth like 5 hours of movie. You know, really get into the battles and shit, and like, I mean, they just glossed over everything pretty much.
Yeah, see, and then, yeah, one of the things I heard that kind of steered me away from it is that there are a lot of historical inaccuracies about it, and that you know, it doesn't cover a number of major battles that the French armies fought.
But Terry, don't you not like guns and stuff, but you like battles? Is that what I'm getting here?
I just don't like the gratuitous violence of handguns. You know, we get all this crap in these movies
But
these days, you know?
hand swords are okay, I guess. Okay.
Terry,
Yeah, swords are fine because you have to be up close and personal with a person with a sword.
Terry, it's your pick next week. What's your pick?
Well, we'll get a break on time. This one comes in at 95 minutes. 1 hour and 35 minutes. Road Warrior.
Which one? The first one?
No, it's Mad Max #2, Road Warrior.
Oh, okay.
Has anybody seen it?
I've seen it many times. Yes.
I've never seen it. Never saw it.
I don't know. I've only seen one, and I don't know. Who's the female star?
There is none.
Is there Tina, or she's in the first
that
one?
I've never seen?
Has it got the little kid in it?
The third one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is the little kid in it?
Yeah.
There's a little kid in it.
Does
The
he look
little
like,
boomerang thrower.
Yeah.
does he look like Cruz?
I don't know who is Cruz.
That's
I'll send you a
Our
picture.
grandson.
I'll send you a picture, Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, who is
I have
Cruz?
a
I don't know who
recommendation.
Cruz is.
He's my grandson.
Grandson,
Oh.
our grandson. Yeah.
Okay.
Recommendation. I saw The Holdovers with Paul Giamatti.
We saw that this afternoon.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah. I thought it could have been edited down to a tighter movie too.
Yeah, could have been, but I thought it was again another. He's so good in terms of character studies. He's just such a good actor. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
I watched Theater Camp yesterday based on a recommendation from my granddaughter, which is it's a satire like Waiting for Guffman or Best in Show, and it's worthy. It's funny. And
what's the name of it?
Theater Camp.
Oh,
Chris?
good. Okay.
Chris, what do you got?
I just want to give a shout out to Mike Sanders for recommending All the Light We Cannot See. I watched it.
Oh,
It's
yes.
excellent. And also Terry recommended Generation War, and I even like that. So kudos to them.
Yeah.
Nothing else on my own.
All the Light We Cannot See was worth the time and effort. It was
Oh,
good.
yeah, that was wonderful.
Hannes, you seen anything you want to share?
No. Last thing I saw in the theater was Oppenheimer, and I haven't seen anything on television.
Dr. Copeland?
I watched an interesting music documentary about Chuck Leavell.
Yeah, the piano player.
Yeah, I didn't really even recognize who he was, and he was also a famous forester.
Yeah,
or
he's
is
an
a famous
environmentalist.
forester.
Yeah.
He won the National Tree Growers Award or something like that. But it's an hour and a half or so. It's on Netflix, and he's one of those modest guys that just is so accomplished, and everything just comes so naturally to him. But you'd love to have him as your neighbor. So I found that to be a very pleasant and interesting thing with a lot of musical background and history in it that I didn't know otherwise.
Well, and I think he's played piano for Leonard Skinner, Allman Brothers,
Rolling Stones.
Yeah, he's on piano, and most people hear it and have no idea who he is or how accomplished he is.
He was in Eric Clapton's Unplugged, and he had a long solo in there that was just spectacular. They did a very nice job of filming that and showing that.
What's it called?
It's Chuck Leavell. I don't remember. It's a tree something.
Okay. Joan and I are big fans of his, so we'll watch that.
Yeah. Good.
Pete, you got anything?
No, but I did want to say I read this bit of trivia about Joaquin Phoenix. He turned down the role that was eventually given to Jack Black for The Big Year. I'm kidding.
I kid.
McCluskey, you bring this ridicule upon yourself.
Exactly.
You got me on that one, Pete. That's hilarious.
How about Nicolas Cage in Moonstruck?
Yeah.
Has anybody seen the previews for Dream Scenario?
No.
There's a movie coming out called Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah.
I've only seen the previews, but he starts showing up in everybody's dreams and becomes like a social media star. And I think things go off the rails. But every review I've read is like he had at his comic best. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
He's like Everyman, but he just shows up in all the dreams.
Yeah. And he starts to think, I must be special. And women are telling him, oh, I'll see you in my dreams. So anyway.
So who's got
a little bit of
Barnhart after that?
Huh?
Is Barnhart after Terry?
Oh.
Jeff.
No, me.
Oh no, Jeff Arthur. Yes, sir. Sorry.
So Gary, is your son or daughter married to Donna's son or daughter?
My daughter is married to Donna's son. And it's
stepson, yes.
Stepson, yes.
Yes.
So we're outlaws. We're not even in-laws. We're outlaws.
Yeah, we are outlaws. Yeah.
My daughter and her family went to Florida to visit Donna's husband, which is my
David's
father. So
yeah.
But we both, when we get together, we talk about movies. So she was the obvious person to add when we had a gap in the League of Unpaid Film Critics. I think she was our first female invader.
Yes, the invasion of the females.
Invited her in anyway. Yeah.
Well,
it was a close vote. I think it was 6-5, but made it in anyway.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was an audition.
I saw a couple of movies last week, or a couple shows anyway. I saw the prequel to Hunger Games.
Oh yeah.
And if you're into that kind of thing, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I don't know if anybody in this group is into it or not. I went. My son wanted to see it, so he was here, and we went and saw it. And has anybody watched those movies?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Does it have what's her name in it? Jennifer, whatever her name is.
Lawrence.
No, it takes place. I think like the ones that we saw, they were like the 60th games, and this goes back to like the 10th games.
Oh, okay.
So it's really more on the Donald Sutherland character, President Snow, about how he becomes the bad guy. Kind of reminds me of Darth Vader, how did this guy become so evil, but it's okay, especially for a certain audience, it's okay. And then the other one, it was a series on Netflix called the Blue-Eyed Samurai. Anybody heard about that one? It's a what do they call it? Anime.
Yeah.
But it's got Kenneth Branagh. He's one of the voices. George Takei. It's pretty well done for what it is. Yeah. So I don't know. I enjoyed that too. It was a 8-part miniseries.
Somebody mentioned Jennifer Lawrence. What movie did I just see that had Jennifer Lawrence in it? Is there a new release?
I saw that one too on Netflix.
Yeah. What's it
No
called?
Hard Feelings.
No Hard Feelings.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's
Not
like cotton
really- not
candy. I
really
remember
recommend
eating it, but
that.
I don't remember sticking very long. What was the plot?
Yeah, I remember thinking that it wasn't very good.
Matthew
I remember.
Broderick was in there, and he played the father to this kind of shy son that's going
Oh
away to
yeah.
college.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, now
So
I remember.
They hired Jennifer Lawrence to
Getting ready for college.
ready.
Yeah, pull him out of his shell. Yeah.
Yeah.
American Pie meets something. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. I smell dinner.
Did anybody else
Okay.
see Killer Moon?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen it. It's good. And
Yeah.
long.
And long.
Tea break.
And
All right,
I enjoyed it. Okay.
Bye all.
Next
All right,
time.
see you next week.
In a week.
Good pick, Gary.
All right.
Good
Nice
pick.
to see you guys.
All right. Great pick, Gare. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.